Welcome, man, to the Real Kings podcast, where you are invited into the projection booth. I am Doc Rock. I am going to moderate an MC for today. My man Hawk is in the projection booth.
What up?
Lav is in the projection booth. And my man Jim Gordon. We are here assembled as a full team. Huh? Doc Rock?
You look familiar, but
Who invited this new dude?
you're at the beginning of the show. I mean, you either ain't on the show, you pop in, you popped out. Like,
I see we start with jokes in here, but it's all good, man. We'll work through the jokes here and all the petty that they got for me because I've been a little MIA recently, but I'm trying, man. You know, it's summertime. Things get busy. Kids got end of the year projects and workshops and events and festivals and AAU tournaments and dance competitions and everything else.
We gotta blame our absentee fathers, man. I mean, I know your dad was around, but hey, we trying to overcompensate. That's all. Keep doing your thing, man.
Hey, James, I do appreciate the petty, though, sir. Keep that up.
Thank you.
That's okay. What comes around goes around, James.
Exactly.
So since you're the only person here that watched Mandalorian, why don't you tell us how great it was, son?
See, you took away the ending because, of course, I'm gonna say it was good. in all honesty, it looks like initially the reviews were down on it. It seemed like it came around, and then people actually went out and saw it. Look, man, it's not going to reinvent the wheel at all. It really was IMAX high dollar version of what we saw in the television series. So it played like an hour and 30-minute long version, higher grade episode. What I do like about Mandalorian is it'll just be a standalone episode. And that's what some of the complaints were, that it didn't tie into the Force and Luke Skywalker and all that. But for me, I thought that was a break, and it had a couple, characters from Rebels and stuff pop in. So action was good. People die in a PG-13 way, but he's often people from the Empire and everything else. So if you liked Mandalorian television show, you're going to like this. Again, you got to deal with Grogu. That probably was my biggest
That's
issue,
the problem.
is that they Grogu'd it up, but they did a good mix of having CGI. There was some stop motion in there, some callbacks to the original Star Wars, but it's worth your time, especially if you got kids. But Grogu going Grogu.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing about you telling us something is worth our time. You think everything is worth our time.
Well, read the Rotten Tomatoes popcorn meter, and you'll kind of get like a good balance, man.
So I do have to start reminding myself lately, some stuff just ain't for me anymore. Like, even though it started that way, I'm no longer a 17-year-old, 15-year-old, 10-year-old. I do get the feeling that this was sort of oriented towards families. So I kind of had a feeling, and maybe that's why I ain't go see it. My family ain't really big into the Star Wars. It's really me. And I did get the sense that this was going to be for like family. So I kind of had expectations that it wouldn't be like some movie I walked away with feeling like, oh, you got to go see it.
It's funny because season 3 of Mandalorian actually ended with a lot less Grogu stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was hoping they were going in that direction, and then they just did an about face.
The first half of this movie, of course, Grogu was in it, but it wasn't super Grogu. And then there's like a midpoint where it kind of veers off and you get more Grogu than you did Mandalorian for a little bit, and then it circles back. So
basically, they're selling toys.
You know what threw me off? I actually, when they first introduced him, I really ain't minded because I really thought we were going to watch this. I don't know what Yodas are. I don't know what that race is, but I just thought we was going to see him grow up.
Yeah.
But then I think that fan reaction, he's so cute, they just basically kept him.
Once they hit us with the line that he's already 50.
Yes.
Then I was like, oh, yeah, we're never seeing this joint stop being this little baby doll.
Yeah.
No comment from me, James. I'm glad you took the L for the team. I guess we're going to wait for this one to drop on streaming on Disney before we go check it out. Is that the plan?
When they watch it on streaming and then they comment 6 months from now and say, hey, it wasn't that bad. I watched it with my son or I watched it with my daughter. Just remember, James saw it first and gave y'all this review.
Well, for now, I'll stick with the opposite extreme.
James' track record has gotten better, in my opinion. He has
Really?
put me on to he has put me on to a lot of stuff that is good. The only thing is, you got to read between his inflections. You're going to say it's good, but you got to know if it was good or if it was, it was good. Like, those, because that's, you got to figure out which one he's saying.
But you got 40 years of experience of reading those inflections. It's going to take us a while to catch up to that.
True.
Look, if y'all listen to the words I say, I think that y'all get it. Like, again, this ain't going to shatter anything that you saw with the original Mandalorian. It's not going to change your opinion. If you're Jonathan and you didn't really like the series, you're probably not going to like this too much. But if you actually like season 1 and 2, but, could tolerate Grogu, because there is a moment, like, it's probably like out of the 2-hour movie, it's a good 20 minutes of just Groguing it up and trying to save the day. So,
does he break Mandalorian out of a tight situation by any chance?
Of course he does.
Come on, man.
Well, let me introduce something that I think could help Star Wars and why I think it's struggling a little bit. I think there are a multitude of issues, and I don't think Mandalorian doesn't sound like it fixed this either. I think when you look back at the original Star Wars, the entire galaxy was basically doomed, right? And the heroes had to save it. I don't know that you can create a situation any worse than that. So, like, how can you scale back up or ramp back up a issue or a villain that's any worse than that?
Well,
it seemed like they just keep creating little minor villains or minor problems to keep this franchise going. But, like, I think they would just, I don't know. Honestly, I think they should have did a reset.
They tried to do it episode 7, 8, and 9 and failed miserably. So they figure they probably better off doing it this way.
Yeah.
Because you rehashing the same story when you try and make that grand empire takes over thing again.
Yeah. So, and we see Marvel about to do a reset. Like, you just got to go, once the entire universe is saved, it's hard to, you can't up the ante on that.
Well, speaking of saving universes and rehashing stories, we all saw Mortal Kombat, correct?
Yeah.
So we understand that Mortal Kombat is a film largely based off of a popular arcade video game from, what was it, like 89, 90? When did it first drop?
It's probably like 92, 93.
Yeah. 92 was the first one, and boom, dropped. And it was in. Now, so here's the thing I always get confused about. Was Pit Fighter sort of like a test game for them, or did Ed Boon had nothing to do with Pit Fighter? Do you know, James? Do y'all remember Pit Fighter?
Yeah,
Pit Fighter was.
So
the characters in Mortal Kombat were largely based on real humans, motion capturing, right?
Yeah, it was
when it first came out, and then
which was a departure from mostly animated Street Fighter games.
They were trying not to be like Street Fighter 2, or Street Fighter 1 and 2. Yeah.
So Pit Fighter was designed in that same way, and it preceded the first Mortal Kombat, right? And it was like guys with pipes and bats, like real street level stuff. James, I don't know how you don't recall Pit Fighter in the arcade. Maybe I'm the only person that went to the arcade. Maybe that's my thing then. What was that Forestville? That was Forestville Mobland with the arcade? Anyway, yeah, that's a throwback. But that is some of the cookies from down there.
Second entrance on the left, right before the cookie spot.
Yes. But yeah, man, so Mortal Kombat is, I guess, a story about an outer world, some other universe where there's a tournament of fighters where every year or something, the tournament occurs and you get up to, is it 5 battles, 9 battles? Before a realm gets taken over by this outer world, these outer world people. I don't know who they are. And so basically we've seen the story. You're familiar with the story. And this is Mortal Kombat 2 is a reset of the original Mortal Kombat film that came out in, what was that, 2099, 98?
That was,
I don't know.
Yeah,
they reset that film, and this is the second version or the continuous, the sequel of the first reset, right?
Why are they so in love with Melina?
Katana,
Katana?
Yeah.
So Katana was a part of the original story. She was always
she wasn't in the first movie though.
Yes, she was.
I mean, not
she
the
just
first
had
movie. She wasn't in the first video game.
Right, but her backstory, I guess, was there once they started. So once they started looping in, what do you call those little things, James? When they loop in some of the story, you don't actually play. But when you're playing the game, you get like some talking and conversations in between.
Cutscenes?
Like the cutscenes. Thank you, Lon. So in the cutscenes, they explain Katana's backstory. So all of that is consistent with what you see in the cutscenes of the video game. You will see that. So this is a continuation of the sequel, which came out. I'm sorry, I should look all these dates up. I'm sorry, fact checker. 2020.
That jump was straight.
Has it been that long?
It was straight to HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
No, I thought they released it in the theater
on HBO Max. Never hit the theater. This
Really?
is one of them joints that we
COVID joints.
It might have been 2021, but it was one of them joints that we was straight.
Yeah, it was one of those straight.
Yeah, it was straight to HBO Max.
Yeah,
I think they were intending for it to go to theater, and they realized that people wasn't coming out to go see it, so they sent it to HBO Max.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so that's interesting as well too. So I want to start there actually, because now that you brought that up, Dane, I think we had different opinions about the first one. And I'm curious how you all felt about it, because I think there's a comparison here to the second film. So if I can just jump in, go ahead, Lon.
So my recollection is that it was one of the bigger named franchises that chose to go straight to streaming. So there was like, to a certain extent, excitement about a big movie with that kind of name on it going straight to streaming. Yeah. And then I also remember liking it pretty much. Like, it wasn't perfect or nothing, but I will admit, I think our standards for what went straight to streaming were lower.
Yeah.
So my take is that by seeing the sequel in the theater, there's definitely not the same standard. And the films, if they were sort of similar in terms of quality, it definitely explains why I probably like the first one more.
And just for a slight correction, it was a simultaneous release. So
it was simultaneous.
Remember, HBO was doing like putting it out on HBO.
Oh, because Wonder Woman 84 came out.
Yeah.
That came out.
They did it at the same time, but most of us watched it streaming.
So maybe I'm the only one that actually liked this one better than the first one. But I like this one better than the first one. But I don't know if y'all recall when we reviewed the first one, I could not stand You God, aka Golden Arms. Like I hated the fact that they added this random character that had nothing to do with the real story or the games.
Yeah.
And when they killed him in this joint, I was like, okay, this joint is better.
You probably ain't alone, because I think they put out a statement saying he'll never be mentioned again. And I'm that's an odd statement to put out, because
they smashed his head and kicked him in the acid river. He better not be mentioned again.
Yeah, but that's even like why I'm like, so he gone. Why did you feel the need to say that? And the only reason I think they felt that way is because people ain't like him. Yeah.
They really didn't. And it kind of sucks, because I like the actor and like his martial arts and everything that he portrayed. It's just that they shoehorned in this character. It's funny because I think I agree with Dane. I liked this one because another thing that frustrated me about the first one is it went off script, not only with the new character, but it didn't feel the need to include the tournament. Like, it was like, that's so dumb. That's not what the people want. And again, just give us what we know from the story. If you're going to make a Mortal Kombat, make it Mortal Kombat. So I actually like how they at least shoehorned in the tournament and then shoehorned in some of the fatalities and catchphrases and stuff. It's a little bit more for the fans, this one was.
Yeah, so this is an interesting conversation, because you all kind of made reference to this, maybe the first episode of Real Kings, in which you all talk about trusting the fans and lending service to the fans for any material that is produced, and how you balance that. The odd thing about meaning for this, like, we're using He-Man as a reference, even though none of us has seen it, obviously, we're assuming that they're going to spend too much time in the world that we understand rather than focusing primarily on Eternia, right?
Right.
With Mortal Kombat,
I agree with
Mortal Kombat, it is actually consistent with the game to see humans in our world and then be taken and drawn into this tournament that we know nothing about. So that is actually consistent. So what I don't have a problem with the first film is their attempt at that. I thought the first film did a better job of trying to lay out the backstory to make it more relatable.
So but it did have a better storyline.
It had a better storyline, but it did a horrible job of not then giving the fan service of the actual tournament.
So this is how I looked at it. The first film was much better at character development.
Yeah.
This film was much better at everything else. The character development in this film was ass.
Horrible. Yes. Yes.
Like it was like, oh, Melina, go fight.
Yeah,
Like, it was like, round one.
Nah, I agree with that because I actually thought the sequel was like a good seamless payoff from the first. Like I thought about that, and I was like, because they kind of established a lot of things other than the tournament, which was the most important thing. Had they established sort of the reason for the tournament and why people get picked in the first one, I think this would have been a really good sort of like evolution into the sequel and why part 2, because just the way Scorpion was introduced back into it, like all of that was like it made a lot of sense.
Right.
Why the characters were coming back and things like that. So in their other versions, right?
Yeah.
So like we have a Sub-Zero who died, but then what's his name? Noob Saibot.
Oh, that's Noob Saibot. Yeah.
Yeah, like so to introduce him in that other version that we know from the game, it's like, oh, he was brought back. So I thought they did do a good job with like, making him. I just think that this movie was terrible altogether.
And other than the Scorpion Sub-Zero fight in the first movie, I think I like all the fights in this joint better.
Yeah, like I think James or John
not Kung Lao. This is the one with
Kung
the blade.
Lao and Liu Kang.
Oh, Kung Lao.
Oh yeah, Kung Lao and Liu Kang. That fight.
Yeah, that was tough. But yeah, I thought somebody
seemed undefeatable the way they had him going in that joint.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that they did a really good job with the nods to the game. Like they showed everyone's obvious finishing moves and stuff, but they also did a good job just giving you a lot of context for. I'll just bring up Johnny Cage. Like we get Johnny Cage introduced. I thought even I don't want to say his storyline was good, but I just think the fact that when you play the game, it always seemed awkward to me why a Hollywood hero like Van Damme would be in the nether realm smiling and putting his sunglasses on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought the way they explained it in this, they did make it good. They made it make sense.
Like he didn't even know he had a special power, but it's linked to his cockiness.
Yeah, and to just be an actor. Like anything you did in your movies is actually what's going to become real in this tournament. Yeah.
The Baraka jump was terrible though.
Yeah, terrible.
And it didn't CGI looked like weird too.
That wasn't CGI.
Nah, that was prosthetic.
He had a prosthetic mask on. That's why.
But it looked like it.
Which is nasty.
Old 80s horror movie.
So just to clarify too, because I didn't do my homework, but Simon McCoy is the same director for both films, which you can see to that point, the consistency between setting up for the tournament and then the actual tournament. So I do wonder, and I didn't do any research, James. I don't know if you know otherwise. If they had a 2-film plan from the very onset and they just had poor execution between not providing the tournament and then how they, reel that out with now needing to go away from Cole Hahn because nobody liked Cole Hahn, which, yes, I'm happy they got rid of him. I'm also happy they didn't just write him off entirely, like make it almost seem like he didn't ever exist, like what happened to him.
That's what I thought they were going to ignore the first part. So like you said, I did like
correct.
Brought it back.
Correct. So I think that having the same director created some consistency. And the film was in 2021. Dane was the actual release.
That's why I said it might have been 21.
Oh, okay. Yeah. April 2021. Yeah, I think doing that helped. I think Mortal Kombat, like some other films that we have talked about here in the past, this film is better supported by, better supports the first film now. Right. Yeah. Like I feel differently. So after watching this, I say, well, wait a minute. Maybe I still like the first film better because I thought it had a better storyline. And you all know me, I'm looking for that level of depth. Not just, just
the critic,
brainless fighting and violence. You know what I mean? Right. Which the fighting scenes were dope, but that was all it was for this film for me. It was the fighting and it was the payoffs of the Easter eggs. But the story, I thought, Bihan's story, like, if you think about that first film, you go back and watch it, and it opens up in like feudal Japan. You know what I mean? The imagery looks beautiful. It's just it almost feels like the little samurai game, that video game that you play. You know what I mean? Like you hear high cues, the little chirping and the little sounds in the background, and he's out there tilling and getting water and stuff, and his family's coming to get attacked by this dude.
You think Tom Cruise gonna come out and start training with him or something?
something.
Man, only Jonathan goes into Mortal Kombat looking for plot and detail.
But I'm saying if you go back, I
story.
promise you, go back and watch the first 15 minutes of the first film. You're gonna be like, oh damn, they had something here.
No, I liked it. Like I said, I liked the first one, and I didn't like the second one for other reasons, but in terms of just a good continuation and continuity, I think they did a great job pulling it all together. I just think that in large, I think some of the question I have is just like, I mean, we talk about this all day. There are some reason that they greenlight certain movies. I think the response from the first one was probably favorable enough that they thought, well, let's do another one. But I don't think that just because you should. Like, and these are the type of movies that I have a lot of questions about. Are there that many of us from our generation that the nostalgia itself will make us go see these movies and be excited about something that ultimately is like real surface level, superficial, as a throwaway?
Yeah, I mean,
or should you be focusing on getting us and a new generation? I think the latter makes more sense to me, but they just seem to be satisfied, and maybe He-Man will be another example of, like, these kids don't know who He-Man is. Like, they don't know none of that lore.
I do think with Mortal Kombat, there is a little bigger of an audience because they released Mortal Kombat games 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 3 years ago. Like,
and M4 did well, too. So.
Yeah, and them games were still doing well. Yeah. So I think they trying to capitalize on that current audience in a sense, like the movie we had in, what was that, the 90s?
Right, yeah, 90.
When we were, in our early 20s, late teens. But also, if you go look at that early movie, like, we think about it well, the memory of it sits well, but that Joan is not good.
No, it don't. Not Christopher, what's his name? Lambert as Raiden.
Oh, he was terrible. I went back and watched it.
Yeah, that's
why can't Asian dudes just be the main character, man? Yeah. Why they always gotta relegate them to the sidekick or just recast it with a white person? And I just don't understand that.
I did laugh when they made the Big Trouble in Little China reference to.
Yeah, that was good.
Like,
So you gotta go back and watch the first one back, because maybe after seeing this one, if I go back and look at the first one, I may feel the same way y'all do, that the first one was way better.
Yeah. Like, in my mind, I grew up. I think if you had to pick my top 3 heroes from my childhood, Bruce Lee is one of them. And I'm not alone. He's still like iconic.
Absolutely. Yes.
So clearly people are fans of him, and Liu Kang is a parody of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just, to me, it's like, it's just weird to me. It don't,
because he was dead.
No, he's saying, why is he not the main character of this movie?
Why is Bruce? Am I
wrong? Did y'all not think Liu Kang was the main character of the game?
He was the protagonist of the
and he was designed after BruceLee in the game.
He was in the original movie, so I think they just tried to move in a different direction. The one from Kids wasn't. Liu Kang was the
main dude in the original.
Maybe they were trying to do something different. But to laugh, your question,
they want Sonya Blade to get screen time.
Yeah, they made her like, nobody care about Sonya Blade.
I feel like that movies are kind of becoming, especially in the theater, like a niche thing. And they know that our generation are probably the ones that still go. Like, and know that they're, they try to do stuff to bring in the younger kids and stuff like that. So if they can get us,
they gotta get them old dudes.
They're gonna have a win. If they can,
that actually makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Was trying to get people in the seats.
Yeah, my son really don't be tripping off going to the movies. Like, it don't have the same meaning for him and his generation.
All the middle-aged dudes still like going to the movies.
In fairness, the actor that plays as Cole Hahn, Louis Tan, is of Philippine and Singaporean descent. So
he's supposed to be a black dude from New York, though.
John, Cole Hahn makes shoes, man. They make shoes. They make sneaker dress shoes. They don't fight in tournaments in the underworld.
I'm reading his last name, his family's name, and it's all blended together. My bad.
I like Louis Tan, but and I guess he was the protagonist in the last one, but I think Loff is speaking to the fact that now it's Johnny Cage and Sonya and everything else.
Blade. And even Katana.
You know what was so funny, Loff? Ed Boon and the other developer of the original video game would go out to the arcades. They had a ticker, a counter system that see from all their machines who were the most and least picked characters.
Okay.
And the least picked characters in all the games, the original game, was Sonya Blade,
right,
and Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
And yet America just trying to whitewash us and force these two characters on us on the screen, and nobody rocked with them in the game. We hated them.
Yeah, and my thing is this: even if you
look at this in this point. It was so bad. They literally took them off between the first MK and the second one. They took them off the game. They were in the back. Oh no, and Kano, they would be back in chains.
Oh,
took them off the game because they were so horrible that you couldn't even pick and play as them.
Yeah. So it's to me
though, like their special moves and stuff. Like
they weren't.
That's why they introduced Jax in part 2.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't even. I'm not. This is not even absent of like this being a business and this is America and the majority of people here are white. I get all that, but clearly my point is that white people were fans of Bruce Lee as well. Like it's okay, and I know the Asian community has talked about why can't Asian men be superheroes or the leading man and all of this stuff, and I still just do not understand it because it's like it's not the fans or the box office saying that it can't be done. It's almost just like a decision somebody's making that they don't want to see that happen and they don't believe in it.
And can we get Jack some real arms? Like them Jones look terrible, man. Them Jones look like car parts stuck together.
The CGI was horrible.
It's something about those arms. It's just like Winter Soldier. There's always a moment where they break or come off.
But he need a Winter Soldier looking arm, like at least a Winter Soldier.
Y'all like the Colossus arm.
You know what?
You know what? That's how I look in the video game.
That's how I looked in the original video game. All of them.
Well, in part 2, he had regular arms.
Something tells me the Colossus arms would look worse.
Yeah.
With CGI, with this type
you
of
got
budget.
the Winter Soldier blueprint.
The Winter Soldier
different
to me, I think you could have built the prosthetic just put over his arm like a sleeve.
Get that sleeve,
probably
like
would have worked just well.
Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They definitely had a carburetor piece on his shoulder, trying to act like that John wasn't CGI.
But yeah, man. All in all, man, it was a fun watch. I can say that much. I did enjoy, sitting through that film.
I think I think it's everything wrong with movies like this. I think it did everything that's wrong with action film. I think it hit every single point.
Specifically what?
Well, if you're going to give me action, right, then that's a given. But just the one-liners,
it's very corny.
The predictability of the story,
very corny.
The foreshadowing of every single thing that was going to happen,
very bad.
The poor acting, it was just like terrible. Y'all can't tell me that the Johnny Cage fights that were supposed to be his 80s movies or whatever, I knew that was intentionally supposed to be bad, but it wasn't even funny. They should have really made it funny. Like they should have really leaned into it being campy and cheesy. They ain't even do that.
Right, like
so it almost blurred. It almost blurred the lines of looking like the stuff we were seeing later with him fighting. So that just made it look even worse to me. He was doing the same moves and it looked the same as in the campy movie. They should have really went all in to make it like, oh, Johnny in the netherworld or whatever, underworld or outworld is really vicious now.
Yeah. So just to be clear, I said I enjoyed the watch as in it kept me engaged, not that it was a good film. I thought it was a terrible film.
Whoa, that's groundbreaking for Jonathan because
it was terrible. I mean, that's why I said the first one was better.
No, the groundbreaking part is you actually were able to check your brain and enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
I was fully prepared not to watch this junk because I knew what it was going to be. I know it was going to be brainless. I knew it was going to have, good martial arts and all that stuff and maybe some nostalgia. But I'm surprised because usually you are the one that's like, nah, this junk was so stupid. Like, I don't care if it was good fighting. Like, but you were able to just say, hey, this is what a Mortal Kombat movie is. Here's what my expectations are. And then here's where
it doesn't mean I'm not going to crush it.
This is the key to getting that response out of John. don't tell a story at all, and he can't critique your story. If you have no story,
That's
he
exactly
can't critique your story.
So basically, just be a real world or
a
a
real
reality
fighting
show.
game, video game.
Just say Melina fights.
Hey, you know what the highlight was of this film, James?
What's that?
Baraka.
Oh, I like Shao Kahn.
I think they did Baraka the best.
I thought
Yeah.
Shao Kahn was the best.
I thought, yeah.
I thought Shao
Really?
Kahn and Liu Kang.
Well, I
So-
thought Kung Lao and Shao Kahn.
Yeah, I think when you look at a lot of villains lately, they almost make them smaller because the actor's smaller.
Yeah.
They want a good actor, so the person ain't in the gym. Don't
man.
really aesthetically present this villain hulking person.
Yep.
And then the voice, they don't use modulation a lot.
Yeah.
They try to pick the actor's voice.
Right.
We see M. Bison in Street Fighter is exactly what I'm talking
That's
about.
That's-
They literally
that
just
sounds
went and got a
hard,
nobody and said he gonna look like the character and he gonna be that big and we gonna use voice modulation. His voice gonna be menacing and he gonna have the special moves and he gonna take people out.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good choice.
Mhm.
I will say that I think
unlike Street Fighter. Unlike what we're prepared to see in Street Fighter.
and I don't know what we about to see,
I
but it just looks like a horrible choice.
I think Kung Lao could have beat him. How nice they made him.
Yeah.
I think he the boss.
Shao
the-
Kahn?
Shao Kahn, yeah.
Mm. Nah, Kung Lao was dope. I know. I figured
and
you
I
like
like
Kung
just
Lao.
how they kept using the hat, it was spin on the ground. Like they did a lot
Right.
of whoever the stunt choreographer was did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so what's our ratings on this?
What did I give it?
I gave it 5.
Then that means I gotta give it a 3 then.
Yeah. That's about fair.
Nah, yo, for real. I'm if I start a movie or a TV show, I almost feel like I gotta finish it, even
That's
if
how I
it's
feel,
that
too.
season. Like I have to finish it. I
Yeah.
was really tempted to walk out of the theater on this.
Really?
Really? It was really bad to me.
Oh, you
It was.
So
Yeah,
it was
really
It's
bad.
probably your worst
Yeah.
rating so far.
It's
So
one
I'm
of
even
them.
knowing
Yeah,
this.
it's one of
Mhm.
them. Yeah.
I'm 5.5 or 6.
Yeah, that's where I am. Or 6. I mean, I didn't
I'll
go
go 5
in
and a
with
half.
any lofty expectations. Like I knew this was what it was. I was surprised that y'all were actually halfway interested in this above some of the other stuff that was coming out. But
Yeah, I did want to see Is God Is, but ain't nobody want to see that.
We just don't want to see it in the
Yeah.
theater because we want to see. That's what the studios are spending money on: the action, the sound, the
Yeah,
maps.
but if we see Is God Is, then maybe it'll do well, and more studios will spend money on that.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point, man. But
I'm just
unfortunately,
glad-
nobody's going to see that like that.
I'm just
man.
glad I saw
I've had
Obsession
like 2 or
first.
3 people tell me they went to go see that joint.
I would have
Yeah.
been
I had a
pissed.
white dude told me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'd have been pissed
surprised.
if I saw this instead of Obsession.
So in full transparency, in full transparency, people probably think we used to think parents were bad parents back in the day for this, but I let my son play the Mortal Kombat game, the new one. So I was excited to go for him because I wanted him to see, because I knew they were going to lead into the fate. Like he sits there and practices the fatalities and stuff. So I knew they were going to give us full lean into.
What is he? He's 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
That's
about
about the age you were when you was playing.
Bill's character, man.
But
You know what I'm saying?
hey
Put
man,
hair,
you know
put
better,
hair
you
on his
do
nuts,
better,
man.
It's just
You know what I'm saying? Get that, make the hair start growing. You know,
That
what I'm
first
saying?
song came out in '92, so you were like 11.
So
right?
to that point though, I will say one thing I did appreciate was they didn't force the cursing like they did in the first one. The first one was bad. It was like you just cursing for cursing sake.
Right.
This one they didn't do that. Like here come a curse word. Like, oh, he didn't use a curse word there. Thank you.
Did you rewatch the first one, but prior to seeing this or after?
After.
I didn't. I still haven't.
I don't feel
Go back and
bad,
watch the first
man.
one.
I went to see this in the hood, and then somebody brought a baby in there.
Oh, that's right. So that added to your
I was like,
experience.
wow,
That detracted,
man.
absolutely. Rather detracted from your experience.
That joint is like at Magic Johnson theaters or some of the like artsy spots like in Georgetown.
Oh no, that's on in Crofton, Whitechapel.
Yeah, but it had like one time.
Oh well, I mean that's more than I expected.
All right, man. This is what the people came for. More than I expected, less than you expected. I don't know what the hell to talk about with this. So, James, I'm just going to kick it to you. I'm going to let you go. Yeah, I'm going to let you go wildfire wherever you want to go with season 5. Was it season 5? The final season of The Boys.
Hey, can I just make a mention of a segue?
Go ahead.
I thought it was interesting that it dawned on me with this conversation of The Boys that Mortal Kombat was the first parody, in a sense, of taking characters we had grown to love and putting them in a different context as something else to make commentary, like almost laughing at them.
Correct.
So we had Van Damme and Bruce Lee and like Mike Tyson or whoever. Like I just thought these games did exactly what The Boys did. And Invincible.
You know that literally they wanted Van Damme to play the role and he turned it down or something like that. Is that how the story goes?
And then he backed out at the last minute.
Yes. And so they were kind of making a mockery of him.
Because he pissed them off by not showing up.
Yeah. So it was arrogance, and that's what Johnny Cage became essentially the mockery of Van Damme.
And I never paid attention to the fact that Johnny Cage's original outfit was from what was it, Bloodsport?
The Bloodsport
Bloodsport outfit.
Damn, live great transition, man. Dropped the ball and you picked it up, my man. All right. Was there a New York Knicks? Was there a New York Knicks? Was there a New York Knicks alley hoop? Was there a New York Knicks alley hoop comment thing or anything? No.
Nah, go New York, go New York, go.
All right, there you go, man. I'll let you get it in. All right, James. Here's my question about The Boys. My first question to you: is Laz Alonso okay?
That's where we started?
Yeah, that's where I'm starting.
Golly.
I'm serious. Last time we seen a brother
I agree.
lose that much, slim down like that, you know what I'm saying? We later lost Black Panther. So I'm just saying, man, I'm a little concerned for my man.
The weird part is that with Chadwick, he didn't really like mention it, or he didn't necessarily get the questions. Like Laz has gotten the questions and he's kind of like, I just wanted to lose weight.
Right.
I just don't know because like with Ozempic and like some of the, GLP-1s and stuff people can take, I don't know if he overdid it. What I will say is there's something about The Boys. You know how in San Francisco they say that they're too close to the whatever. Like there's a lot of people on The Boys that just like their health doesn't seem to be doing that well as the seasons progress. So maybe where they film is taking them out or something. Or
his explanations about it being deliberate and it's like I wanted to do this on purpose.
Yeah.
I do want to respect people's health. I know that this is his livelihood. To some degree, he may not want to eliminate himself from other jobs. Who knows what the reason is? But what I am saying is that it doesn't feel genuinely like that's what it is. It feels like it's something else. It doesn't feel like you're dieting and in the gym. So you can look a certain way.
It doesn't look like that either.
Especially because he's saying, I want to look like a military guy, but you never see him cut up and chiseled. He got on heavy coats and jackets and stuff. And it's like, we don't even see your, like these leather, some motorbiker jackets. I'm like, well, where's the muscles and all that you supposed to be showing us for trimming down for this
And normally people say I was so bulked up, I felt unhealthy. Like people will say that. Laz wasn't that. He was just like he was just normal size.
He said he looked at himself in one of the things and was like, "Did y'all put some CGI on that? I look chunky." And they was like, "Nah, that's you." So he thought he looked unhealthy.
But I think that's part of his explanation.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not buying it.
I hope he all right, man. I hope it's like,
all right too.
Yeah.
Male anorexia or something. Because when you talk about some of these symptoms, like how he looks at himself, and like I said, it's some people that have used the Ozempic or
it do make you look a little sunken in too.
And they overdo it. And sometimes our image of ourselves is corrupted. So he might look
especially
like,
in
all right, I'm looking good. What I
but
mean?
then it's like, so why would that kick in now though? Like you were Laz Alonso for years, like women, you were getting roles, women were on you. So the world is reflecting that you look great. And then you just at 50 years old decide, no, my image ain't right. Like, I don't know, man.
You're supposed to know these things.
Yeah, it seems quite a bit extreme, which is why I just wanted to bring some attention to
I
it.
think
You
it's
know what I
wild
mean?
that's where we started.
Yeah. I
No,
think
I
we
just wanted to get it
all
out the way because it
yeah,
wasn't
but
gonna be
we
no
all
place to put it back in. Yeah.
it's definitely we snickering and stuff, but it definitely ain't something we laughing at. Like we
I
definitely
hope he's
want
good,
him to
especially
be
'cause,
okay.
you know,
Like
Right.
I hope he's okay. Like I
man,
hope
he
it's
one of our local heroes, celebrities
yeah.
from the
Yep.
DMV, man.
Absolutely.
We've
Yep.
always been rooting for him.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, so you know who we not rooting for, James? This damn season of The Boys. All right, The Boys, season 5. That's my real transition. James, tell me what we need to know. Where you want to start with this one, man? The floor is yours, man. Just go wild.
Overall, and again, man, I'm usually Mr. Positivity. So I have a few positive things, but overall, it just seemed like, again, this season was a money grab. It didn't really seem consistent. There were episodes that really felt like filler. You probably could have done this season in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then there
That's a
were a
fact.
couple, like the joint with Seth Rogen, and when they were showing it from like the dog's perspective, terror and all that, like it just seemed like they was like, again, we got to get 8 episodes out of this. Like you'd have been better off doing a 2-hour movie just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
and
Hold
just
on. Don't blame this one on the need 8 episodes. They could have did 3 episodes and it still would have felt the same.
Yeah.
This show just should have stopped.
But I love what James just
But
said.
you see
Though.
what
Like
James is
if
saying, though.
if this was a movie, you wrapped it up with a movie,
Right.
that would have
Yeah.
been perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they should have wrapped up season 4 with a movie.
Definitely was a lot of filler. What I thought was positive about it, because I know we're gonna rip this joint apart, was I did still occasionally laugh at some of the parodies that they did, like, you know, the Super Bowl Jesus thing as they were making Homelander and doing those commercials, and like the movie posters where it looked like Carnage or it looked like Superman when it was really Homelander, and all that stuff still made me laugh. And then Soldier Boy's quotes. But outside of that, it definitely wasn't the plot. You can't point to this plot and say it was good, man. So I almost want to let John run with it, because it had to be frustrating watching some of this stuff as they kept moving the goalposts. They kept moving people's power sets. Like it was all over the place, man.
Yeah.
And
just even just from the characters, like I think it's best if you have a story arc that the character is able to not only just evolve, but just progress through their story over time. To have a one-dimensional character like Butcher, well, let's call him two-dimensional. To have a two-dimensional character like Butcher be the same from beginning through all these seasons and be just focused on in every episode, and all he says is "oi," "cunt," and "bullocks" like 500 times an episode. It's like lazy too. It's not just repetitive. It's also lazy. And like,
since we on that, what did y'all feel about his story arc? Because I know we're going to bounce around a little bit, but since we're focusing on Butcher and he was one of the main characters in addition to Homelander, and he was supposed to be almost that yin and yang and ebb and flow, the good and bad, his ultimate, because again, in the comics, it was something similar where Butcher does end up dying and he kills some of the boy. I think he actually killed everybody but Huey in the comics.
Yeah.
But what did y'all think about that ultimate story arc? I felt it was
what arc? It seemed like he just was a parody of Wolverine. They tried to make him look like Hugh Jackman as best as possible and say, you're going to be that person. And that's all he could pull off.
I think they got so far away from trying to develop him as a character at the end of season 3 and through season 4 that at the end of this joint, to finish off the series, they tried to like really close up the storyline that started in the beginning, because they kept calling reference to his wife with the son,
Rebecca,
and you know, and with him, you know, finally having his closure, his revenge or whatever for what happened to her, and you know, drinking that beer with the team and all of that stuff. So I think that's what they called themselves, trying to, you know, close his arc. But him as a character was just completely underdeveloped, especially this season. It was, like you said, it was nothing but a bunch of quips like the entire season.
And I'll say for the whole series, they didn't really develop them. And probably one of the few characters that actually got development was Huey. And even that wasn't great. You know what I mean?
They sort of messed it up at the end, man. He was developed better in season 2 than he was in 4 and 5. Like,
I think they got away from So a couple things happened. To Dane's point, this went on entirely too long, which got away from the core of why they're doing this in the first place, the boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Huey wants revenge for his girlfriend whose arms got ripped off. And while he may have
Huey's girlfriend was
she blew
exploded.
up. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry,
A-Train
she
ran through her.
exploded
Yeah.
because A-Train ran into her. My apologies.
Right.
And Butcher wanted revenge for Rebecca, and they just happenstance to meet each other at a timely, serendipitous way to come together and say, let's go out and kill Soups, right?
Yeah.
And I know that enough time has passed where some healing internally can go on, can occur. People can look at and just see life differently and realize things a little bit different. And I think what remained was Butcher's integrity with the idea that we just have to eliminate Soups. This has to be done. But then everybody else almost kind of veered away from the path of what they intended to do. And everybody almost started to seem like, well, we don't need to eliminate all Soups. Maybe we just need to eliminate this one Soup because he's problematic. And all of that seemed to get jumbled and lost between this show going on too long and then introducing Gen V and all these other side quests and side stories that I felt disconnected from that. So it felt like trying to come back to Beck at the end felt inauthentic because he didn't seem to be emotionally charged about her death anymore, right? It seemed like too much time had passed. And Huey seemed to completely forget about why he started out on this quest to begin with, and he was so in love with Starlighter.
But even if
Starlight, excuse me.
Yeah.
But even if that was the case, I think Homelander was enough of a sort of looming issue over the whole country that you could see that their motivations could pivot towards that.
Sure.
My main problem is that they never anchored us enough to their purpose together.
Yeah.
Right.
They almost like you never even helped facilitate the fact that they would still be a team. Like like with Ocean's 11.
Like, why is Kamiko still there?
Yeah, like
yeah.
I think for me, it's like, had they just sort of synergized this group to make them like actually start liking each other and loving each other and actually make it feel like their mission, they were still anchored around this mission.
Why is Starlight working with Butcher?
Whatever their individual motivations were at first, they still would have been anchored to this main mission. We got to see it through. And this is my family. But they didn't even do that. Like if they come out with Fast and Furious 21, we gonna know where they started. Don't matter because this a family.
Yeah.
And I think they could have did that, and I think they didn't do that either.
We talked about that before. Like, I think they lost sight that this show was the boys and tried to bring it back. It kind of became the Seven and Homelander show.
Yeah. Yes.
And then they were like, oh yeah, now it's the boys again. We got to figure out a way to close it. Of course, the boys are going to be, but we even discussed it. Like, man, up until this season finale, I think the boys won like one or two battles. Like they,
that's true.
Really no successes, and for a long time they like were underpowered until now. Butcher suddenly can go toe to toe with Homelander, but for a long time they weren't even competing well. They just were consistently messing up.
Why do you think that they went away from them having V to combat the Soups with powers? Like,
you mean
it's probably just
because he said we shouldn't do that. And I thought Butcher and everybody agreed because it was too dangerous or something.
I'm sorry. I should have said, I'm saying from the comic why they took that angle in the show.
Yeah, I
it
don't
just
know.
seemed like a poor choice to me.
But they stopped in the comic too, right?
What's that?
Don't they stop using it in the comic as well?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they used it the whole time.
NV was like, it was a one-time deal too. So like, once they had the power, and that's what made the boys kind of scary to Homelander and them, because they actually had powers. And they and when they did these ops and stuff, they actually were causing damage and disrupting like the Seven. On the show, they almost seemed like annoyances, but bumbling. Like something always went wrong, or they didn't succeed, whatever mission they're doing. I think it just was a creative choice, and it could have been budget too. I don't know.
Man, I even would have been happy if they came out with a V inhaler that's temporary. Like, just something to make sure that it balances the scales a little bit, as opposed to us seeing the boys constantly running and fighting without powers and luckily getting out.
Right.
And then on top of that, they never killed nobody really.
Right.
Like,
all they had to do was use the Gen V kids like they promised they were going to. Them
Yeah.
Bramers
Pointless.
sat on a front porch begging to get in the fight for
They did.
2.5 episodes and did nothing.
And
Right.
Maria was the only one that was surviving, I think, from whatever experiment with Homelander. So that's why they were
Right. She's supposed to
talking
be
her
as
up to
strong
be
as
as
Homelander.
strong as him eventually.
So
And then
yeah.
decided to not
that's-
lean into the easiest storyline that you had that would have at
Right.
least made some sense.
Well, that
at point.
storyline doesn't make sense if you try and introduce V1, because now V1 makes everybody stronger.
I
than
think
all the rest of the suits.
if you're telling me his DNA or his blood has changed because of V1, I think there's a storyline where you could develop something that Marie has some influence over Homelander. She's part of the reason we can defeat him somehow.
Right. She could extract
even
the
after
V1 out
V1.
of his blood, whatever.
Yeah, like there's
I mean,
something she can do that just helps,
Explode his body.
Maybe, but I just think that, her being not a part of how he gets defeated is insane. Because you built all of that up, but for it to not pay off.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna talk about she
And
was
it would've
supposed to
been-
be part of the next season of, I guess it was supposed to be a continuation into Gen V season 3, I guess.
Yeah. And I think just with what was his name, Chance Perdomo, when he passed, the actor in Gen V, I think like once he passed, it kind of threw things off. And I think that because Gen V just wasn't successful, it really felt like they pivoted. Like, oh crap, this is what we were going to do. Nobody watched these shows. They're going to ask, who are these characters? And then they were just like, man, let's just get back to the boys.
Y'all making excuses. They just didn't want to see another black woman save America.
Right.
Speaking of black women
And
saving
that wouldn't that have been really more applicable to real life to have her and Sage team up like Stacey Abrams?
No. We got to talk about Sage. We got to talk about Sage. That was the most disappointing character, and to me, in all of this series, because for her to be the smartest person on Earth, not even just at an intellectual human basis, but at because of this compound drug, has made me that version of the smartest person you've ever met on Earth. Human emotion should not be sufficient. She can predict people's behavior based on how she expects them to respond with their emotion, right? To some degree, she should be able to say, hey, I can predict within an 85% probability chance that because your ass is so emotional, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And therefore,
love overcomes all.
It was horrible. It was the whole most
And why was Homelander always a
throwaway-
step ahead of her?
Right.
He always seemed to have some
Yeah,
intuition
he
or
was
something that told him, Sage, you seem like you ain't that you too smart for that. Like
him way too easy.
Yeah.
And they inferred that she was always in the background doing that or suggested it, but you never saw anything come to fruition.
They would have
to
been
her
better off
readily.
if Homelander was like her puppet and she was kind of wanted him to be in that position of authority because it meant she was good. That would have been a better storyline and angle where she's like pseudo living the life of a queen because she's puppeting this Homelander.
Them trying to play it off like all she wanted to do was go live in a bunker by herself was so weak.
Yeah,
it was so lazy.
Remember that episode
lazy.
of the Twilight Zone where that's what that one dude wanted, and then
the rest of us wasn't alive yet when that episode came out, bro.
James, the reference point was Ozymandias. What's his name?
Ozymandias.
Yeah.
Ozymandias from
made him Hispanic.
What is his name?
Ozymandias.
Watchmen. Thank you.
But it definitely because she was talking about she just wanted to read and all that. Check it out for everybody who's listening that remembers the Twilight Zone episode where there is a nuclear holocaust and all.
I'll call my uncle and see if he remembers this joint.
But no, I think that was a better reference point to show how someone who's supposed to be a super genius can manipulate everything to their will. And that's if you're going to utilize that character, she is manipulating Homelander to be exactly what we end up seeing.
You have to have
because she thinks that's the way of getting him
off a genius.
To her
the problem is, James, the problem is she's smarter than the writers actually are.
Yeah,
Like her character's supposed to be smarter than their writers actually are.
Right, man. Danes' cynicism is only rivaling mine at this point in time. He's just derailing the whole thing. He's like, I'm so disinterested. So in full transparency to the listeners, it took Dane, he probably just finished the shit yesterday, if not, because he didn't even want to watch it because the first episode was so bad that it took us forever to get here. We couldn't even do an episodic review because Dane was like, I refuse to watch it anymore.
Nobody wanted to watch.
I think I
do
spotted y'all
episodic.
like 3 episodes and was like, I'm done. And if it wasn't for my wife pushing us through because she was being pressed, like, we got to watch. I'm like, I don't want to watch that crap. I'll wait till it's over, finish it, and be done so I can say I got through it and be able to have a sensible conversation around it. But it was just bad. It was just bad writing.
Yeah, this was like a labor. I was laboring through this season.
Oh,
I was pushing.
They had a scene with a cat and a dog was sniffing each other's ass in human form. Like it was
right.
This
I mean,
was
they
just
always have those crazy scenes, to be.
Yeah, but that isn't even shock value. That's just like, why are we watching this? Like it would have been different if it was something shocking about it. But,
one thing that was shocking to me was how accurately they are predicting what's happening in real life.
Crazy. That John's crazy.
I mean, they've done this quite a few times. But this season in particular, knowing that it's just ahead of the curve of what we're actually seeing in real life was just astonishing to me.
I question the validity of that law.
It's crazy how
I feel like they was rolling these episodes out like Saturday Night Live. I'm like, nah, man, they doing it for SNL.
No way.
Like, they dry running this.
There's no way they did
Ain't
this
no
show
way
live.
they predicted this stuff like this, man. They talked to all of them on the red carpet. They was like, oh, it was so crazy when he did this because we were like, oh my God, we just shot that a year and a half ago. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's some thought that history repeats itself and that people have been saying this is like sort of written in Project 2025. So I guess there's some stuff you could kind of look at as some indicators.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But you know, again, you kind of, they did make a strategic decision to say that he's sort of a symbolism of what Trump looks like. And so for it to just consistently be on par with what these seasons are showing us is just crazy.
Yeah. That's about the only thing that they got right, which was, and even to that degree, y'all know how I feel about that. Like, I'm so tired of it. Like, I don't want to be inundated with him in
real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You want to escape
from that. I want to escape that sometimes. And it's just like, oh, not again. And then it just gets tired and monotonous. Like, it's like, y'all got to do something more creative because so many people are leaning into this. This isn't even novel or fun or trivial anymore because you all, or it's become trivial because you all are doing what I see every Saturday Night Live, right? Like, it's dead now. Do something different, right? And so that even got boring. I do want to ask you all, and we can continue to, dip in and kind of bring back specific things from this season if you all desire. But there's there's a larger conversation. So I'll share a post here with this group, and there's a Cuban director. His name is William Vieira. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. He's done some independent films. He's known for Shattered Petals, The Addiction, and Through Terror's Eyes. He had a recent IG post probably about a week ago where he says why great shows always fall apart at the end. And he said, we see this and everything basically once you start to monetize the product specifically around films. And some of the things here I just go over that he highlights is basically lazy writing, inconsistency in characters' actions, unanticipated or unsatisfying endings, changes in writers throughout the season. And this is all a result of merchandising, licensing, streaming deals, and international deals. He says studios don't want to cancel successful shows because, and he quote, bad storytelling is still profitable and audiences in turn suffer the consequences of someone else's balance sheet. And so he said like the great creators pretty much only ever care for a story when they sit down and think through what they have in mind for no more than 2 or 3 seasons. Anything beyond that is just becomes a portrayal of what their intentions were naturally or originally. And then they have a choice whether to betray it or walk out and say, I'm done. I don't want anything else to do with your studio. I don't care how much money you're offering me. And he also quotes, and this is a big one. He says, when a show runs out of source material, it runs out of soul. And so I thought that was deep and impactful. And I think I kind of for the little bit of time I was on with you guys last week, just kind of got to the whole point of saying I'm so fed up. And I, made the analogy with going to restaurants that, you're trying to convince yourself it's something good, but we know it's gross now. Or, maybe the restaurant used to be good and now all of a sudden it's become gross, and we're trying to continue and convince ourselves that we're getting something from this experience when in reality, we're just not. It's not exciting. It's a waste of time. And then you get people like me becoming completely cynical, and then like now Dane apparently. And so, I'm kind of
So
curious just you all's feedback on that article and kind of just have a conversation around it.
I'll say that for each of these reasons, some of them apply to to one show multiple times, but a lot of them have different stuff. And I will say I read a lot of books and comic books and everything else. It's very difficult to come up with a good ending sometimes. You know what I mean? Like people have these lofty ideas and like even good stories. Sometimes the writers make choices where it's like, dad, they didn't quite land the plane, but it was good. Or it was decent. And you see that a lot with like Stephen King and stuff like that. But it seems like lately we're getting a lot of this where they're extending shows for too long. Showrunners change, or the original showrunners or writers get frustrated because they're not given the creative latitude that they had before. And I think those for me have been like the biggest two reasons that I've seen. And I talked about it earlier and on multiple shows. I feel like that if your story calls for a 20 episode run, or if it calls for an 8 episode, I just hate when the studios get involved and they try to extend it or reduce it. You know what I mean? Because then you're condensing the storyteller's vision.
Just one point of clarity, James. Sorry, Lawson. Just one point of clarity. You said the ending. I just want to be clear here. I think this is beyond just the ending of the show, because The Boys, the last 2.5, 3 seasons have been trash, right?
Yeah,
so this ain't just about an ending thing here. We're really talking about.
There's some on this list, like if you look at like Dexter or even Lost and stuff.
Game of Thrones,
like,
of course.
Those did well until the ending. Game of Thrones did well until the ending. What I do like, and there probably is some hopefully light at the end of the tunnel where it shows like Foundation and Silo where they seem to be sticking to the source material. And then they seem to be like, yeah, we're going to end it here. Like there's a definitive line of demarcation where they're like, this is where our story wraps. And that seems to be the best endings.
I think I used to have a huge feeling that a lot of shows were so engaged in the journey that they didn't give enough thought to the ending.
That happens a lot.
But I'm wondering if what John is saying and what this article is saying is actually more true. Like they went past what they thought the ending would be, because the journey was still going so well as far as the production level for the studios, the financially and stuff.
Which is interesting because
Supernatural was crazy.
The same creators, well, I guess they ended up leaving, but the same creators for Supernatural are the writers for The Boys. But they even said like
Supernatural probably got everything on this list.
Yeah, it said it like season 6, like that's when they plan to wrap it up. And then CW was like, nah, keep it going for another 20 seasons. It's just like, right.
So Crypt Creeps are holding. He's not to be trusted because he's got a history of doing
this. He definitely a hoe.
But I'm sorry. Out. When they were done with their story, I had to look it up. But I think after that, like season 5 or 6, when he said, this is the story I wanted to tell, somebody else came in. I think he still was getting his production credits, but I think that that's when they stepped away.
Yeah, I feel like we have had some sort of theoretical conversations where we had theories, but I think this article did a good job of just summarizing and validating the stuff we were feeling is probably happening. Because I think for us, you do find these shows are successful because they really are good at first. And so then there's just this pivot and fall off, and you're just like, man, how did this show I love so much turn into something like it's like a bear to watch, and it's just dragging out. And that made all the sense in the world that these are profitable. We keep tuning in, so obviously everybody else is too, but we're not happy anymore. We're watching because we started a journey and we want to see it through.
And I envy people like you, Love, because you said earlier that you can finish a season, but if that junk was trash, you'll be tapped out. Like if I'm 3 seasons in,
but I had to. That's the thing. Like I've realized I can't do what I used to do,
Okay.
It's not worth it. It doesn't pay off. If I stick with it, I'm wasting my time.
But
if I at least get through the end of a season, I can say I got to sort of a point, like ending a chapter of a book that I can live with.
I feel you. But what I struggle with is if I try to do that and just step away, I always want to be like, well, what did they do?
Yeah.
Well, I want to know how it ended just because I invested 3 seasons. I want to see how they closed it.
Here's the alternative. You go with an episodic format that's good enough that it doesn't sort of fall off, and it's refreshed enough that for that episode, it's entertaining.
Right.
Law and Order has like 3 versions, and people watch every episode for year after year after year because it's episode to episode.
Yeah.
You might have some like loosely running threads that continue for a character or two, but they're not trying to. There's just not this fall off. And again, there's never this high that you get with Game of Thrones and these shows where you see this huge depreciation in what you're watching. It just is slow and steady, and it just wins the race. That's the only other alternative.
So a show that I agree, a show like that is perfect. I don't have to feel the urge to stay till the end because they can bring in new detectives. It's episodic, so it doesn't matter what the story. It's sort of like a Twilight Zone as well.
Yes,
but what I struggle with is like The Chi. It's a current show right now. I stopped watching The Chi 3 seasons ago. I think I watched 4 seasons, and then like the little boy that was the main character, he grew up and went off the show, and that season after that was the one I was like, this show ain't even the same show no more. So I stopped. But now I'm seeing all these commercials about the final season, and I'm like, I want to know what happened with these characters now. So it's like I can't watch 4 seasons of that joint, but I don't want to miss how they close up these storylines.
But see, even with that, then The Chi did its job, I would say. The Chi didn't, I think, bamboozle their audience. They did their run.
Too long.
I agree. But they did their run and didn't have the depreciation that I think this article is talking about. Okay. These are premier blockbuster shows that just decide, well, we're not going to invest, or we can invest with the writing or the production value that we had at first, but we're going to still make it work because we just going to milk it. No. I don't think The Chi is doing that. I think they're writing every season as best they can.
James, you still watching The Walking Dead? He got the unreleased joints.
That joint.
The Walking Dead was weird too because it never outpaced the source material. Like The Walking Dead is like one of those comics that go on for infinity, like kind of like y'all saying. It just rinse, repeat, recycle. So I think that they were hoping to do something similar with the show.
Sometimes outpacing the source material ain't always a problem because look at Marvel and DC with their movies. Like they struggle with movies.
It seems like the studio or the production company or wherever, Netflix, HBO, seems to matter. Because I don't know they don't give it a lot of props. I don't know if it's like a committee or a group or one figurehead, but whoever is in charge of the production at Apple TV seems to do a good job of
Seth Rogen.
He seemed to do a good job of figuring out, that management between budget and script and having shows that do well and like ending the show when it's supposed to. Like they've done a good job. And I mean, the jury is still out on stuff like Severance and everything else because it hasn't come back. But it seems like somehow Apple TV has done right.
Ask me about Severance season 2, Shrinking season 3, and if they do another season of the studio, because all them joints are at a point where they could just lie where they are.
Yeah,
I feel like Netflix
kind of another season.
I feel like Netflix kind of ends their shows too.
They do well.
I've noticed that,
but Ozark
Things went too long.
Good job.
Stranger Things went too long.
Yeah,
that last season, Stranger Things
went too long. We know it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
but that's a couple things on Ozark did well. Maybe that's just what I'm thinking of when I think of Netflix. But they seem.
I actually feel a little differently about Stranger Things. I know what we're saying the article is describing is an inner dynamic behind the scenes that doesn't create an environment for the show to be good quality anymore. But the amount of seasons Stranger Things had doesn't seem problematic to me.
Nah.
And they kept all the characters, like, the actors. So it wasn't like they had this big transition of like attrition where people left and all that. So everything was set for them, and they got more money.
Stranger Things.
But
it just feel like that
never intended.
that's what I was going to say.
Never intended. The writers had an endpoint.
Yes.
And they had to rewrite the finale of
5 to 8.
Yeah,
Stranger Things is 5 through 8.
And I feel like they failed us.
Right at that Vecna season, which I think was their intention, they'd have been good.
Correct.
Yeah.
That would have been it. It would have been, we'd be talking, it'd be up there. It probably still is amongst the best all time, but it can't be because it just, they spoiled it at the end. They
Studios didn't want to cancel it because the show was too successful.
Yeah.
But then it led to bad storytelling.
We were having, but this is about to be a really unsafe analogy I'm about to make, but I'm gonna lean into it anyway. Before we got on air, we were having a conversation around barbecue spots. And whenever you come to, I live in Texas, so whenever you come to Texas,
get the pause button. We got a pause button.
I'm about to say all the barbecue spots tell you we open at this time of the day and we end when the meat runs out.
Right. Right. Yes.
They don't keep producing the meat.
Yeah.
Whatever they have available for that day is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Right? What? Yeah, come on, man. Y'all got to grow up, man. I told y'all it's a dangerous territory, but I had to go here, right? But it's important. What the barbecue spots have learned, they do not sacrifice the quality of their product.
Go ahead,
keep selling all day. Yeah.
To keep selling it all day. They could be getting it with hormones
ordering
meats or from other places. They could be getting bad meat from somewhere that ain't
Tuesday
right.
It's 11 to 7. Friday that gonna be 11 to 5. Same amount of
and they say
it
ran out. Might run out until we run out.
That's what I'm saying. They open at 11 and when they run out, they run out.
That's it. They run out.
And they not going to put some more on,
it takes
10 or 11 o'clock. Only for you to not, for people to be gone, they don't sell it and they wasted it.
Correct.
Like it's too much of a process to be wasted.
And it wouldn't be the same quality.
It wouldn't.
Well, it might be, but it's just like
because smoked meats in Texas and Kansas City and Memphis, they cook them overnight. They cook them for 14
Well, I'm saying
hours.
if I put it on at 9 and it's done by we close at 10 or whatever, then it will be there. But I'm just simply saying,
9 a.m. It'll be ready at 9 p.m.
Like if they see you lining up, they could say, "Hey, throw some more in there. We probably gonna need some more by this time," but they not doing that. They're like, "We just be out. We'll see you tomorrow."
They're not doing that, and I think that's important, and that's why like it's consistent. You know what you're getting. It doesn't change. How they make it economical is the price point. Yeah. They just raise the price point, and that's why this shit hurt. You go like, damn, I had to pay $250.
Dino rib $40 for one rib.
Right. Yeah. But they're doing it because they like, look, this is what the cost is in order to provide you the quality of service consistently with what you expect every single time. Yeah. Make your adjustments there. Like I'm okay with companies, you know what I'm saying, making a profit. But go about it in a way that doesn't sacrifice whatever the product is from the start. And they have no problem, none, especially movie studios, with sacrificing the quality of the product that we're getting today. And it's just, it has made it so unenjoyable.
It's an issue of greed, not profit.
Greed. It is.
Because they literally make profits, but they almost have this culture in America with capitalism of, well, we need to make more profit next year.
Right.
So it's just this constant binge of how can I give people less and charge them more? So McDonald's is, we're going to give you the same burger, but we're going to gradually make it smaller and charge you gradually more. So I'm making more profit. So like even with these shows and stuff, it's like, let's just keep running it out there, but we giving them a smaller burger. They ain't even going to notice, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this, because it seems like the studios are the easy culprit to kind of point at, but I wonder how many times it is like a creator that's in love with their property and they just take it too far. They want to keep going, keep writing, instead of
James, most creators are probably just the opposite of that. They probably love their property so much they don't want to taint it by dragging it out. This is what I intended for it to be. This is my art, and I want to give y'all what I intended because that's perfection to me in my mind. When they make me go beyond that, then
I think it's two things. I think that's true, but I think there are also creators who didn't go that far, right? Jay-Z always said your best album gonna be the first one because you spent however
Yeah,
much time
lifetime.
yeah,
building
that's
that
true.
album, but every album after that is like you only
took
got a
you-
year to build it.
Yeah, it took
Yeah.
your whole life to write your first album.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think some of that is just where I think some artists just kind of dry up. Like they don't have the ideas left over to pivot and keep a story going in a
But
way
they got that
that's
contract.
but it's
Yeah.
you know, it's just like this awesome season after season. I don't think everybody can do that. I think some of the greats probably can, but you know, it depends on the writing room you got.
I also think that has a lot to do with fresh starts, because if I'm telling the same story season after season after season, then maybe I can't do that. But I had another idea for 2 other properties that I can't even write because I'm stuck in this season 8 of The Walking Dead.
Well, let's just keep it a bean. Comic book shows shouldn't have that problem.
Right.
Comic
They really
books
shouldn't,
go
'cause they got source
forever.
material.
Yes.
Yeah, they got source material.
So,
yeah.
But see, that's
And-
another issue, Lob, you bringing to the forefront. Like even with the Telu, with The Last of Us, the source material was so great that they thought enough of it to make
2
a
seasons.
TV show, only to go away from the source material in the TV show. It's like, what are you doing? Like the blueprint was there for you. It was so successful. It is acclaimed as one of the best video games ever made, not just because of the action and the fun part, but because of the storyline that you thought enough money of it to invest the money to make a show, only to then say, you know what? Let's take some creative
We're
liberties
smarter
with
than
this.
the audience. We're smarter than the audience.
Right.
Let's make it
It was
different.
Well, this is
because The Last of Us, like there were ways that they could have changed it, because there definitely was some complaint about the second game and it being like, you know, quote unquote woke or whatever, and some of the, but they didn't even change that stuff. They like changed all the good stuff about it and kept all the stuff that people complained about. So it was very strange.
Because they think they smarter than the audience.
They did, and it's almost like they wanted to. What's the young lady's name that played Elle? It's almost like they wanted to lean
Bella
into
Ramsey.
her strength or weaknesses were, instead of just keeping it with the character.
Was Telu a scenario similar to Invincible, where the original writer was like, I could have written this better, let me change some things? Or was Telu the studio pushing them to change?
No, it was the writer.
It was the studio and Craig Mazin apparently pushing the writer to add some stuff.
Okay.
And then, but
because I know what
the writer was the one that left after all the criticism from the second one. So and he said, because
that's why I thought
he started taking liberties. I'm like, why? What are you doing? You know,
that's why I thought it was a writer. Because with Invincible, he said himself, he said, I thought when I started this, I realized I could be a better writer. I'm a better writer today than I was when I wrote this original material. So when I do the show, I can change stuff, I can update stuff and make it better than it was in the comic.
So what made me think what I believe about The Last of Us was that Craig Mazin, for example, introduced the idea of having the network of fungus that could create and call other zombies. The writer never considered that. He was like, oh, that's a dope idea. We should introduce that. That works better than this whole concept of spores, because people like John and Love are going to be like, how that's going to work in real life if you outside, right? Which was fine. But because of that interaction, I took it to believe that the writer was taking liberties from Craig Mazin, from the director.
Right.
But the writer is the one who ended up leaving, as if his whole material, he was getting in the way of things. So I really just don't understand who actually is at fault there.
So maybe what happened is the director is the guy that created the game, right?
Craig,
is that what you're saying?
No. The director is Craig Mazin. He did HBO's what is it called? Chernobyl, which is really good if y'all never watched it.
But the writer of the game story is the one that left.
Correct. He left.
So
I think he was just being political. I think that they probably had some issues. Again, and you find out, especially if you're the original author, like once you sell your stuff to the studio, you don't have a whole lot to say. Like they'll include you and have you on the set, but ultimately, so I think he was just being polite in a way and like, you know, stepped away. But I think some of his suggestions didn't work out well. And then, you know, it's one thing if you make some suggestions and the season is still a success, but in this case it wasn't. So he was like, all right, yeah, I'm out, because this is exactly what I said it was going to be.
Neil Druckmann is the writer.
Neil Druckmann, yeah.
So with all that being said, going back to just The Boys and wrapping that up, it leads us into a prequel called Vault Rising. Are y'all really watching that?
I'm not watching. Don't ask me. I'm not doing it.
I just wanted to ask because I want to get y'all perspective.
James is watching it.
I'm gonna probably, I can't lie, I'm probably gonna give it a chance just to see how they. There's two things I'm curious about. Is it gonna be different?
No.
And two, I really don't understand how they're setting up this world. They did release the trailer on the tail end of the season finale.
Story.
It's a prequel.
And one, they've created this sort of like old school 60s white man who's the main character who has all this misogynistic and racist ideology. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, one, how you gonna make him the main character of a show when that thinking is not gonna fly? It's offending everybody. How you gonna make him the main character? How you gonna introduce any?
Well, Homeland was the main character.
Yeah, they think that's what's gonna get people to watch.
He was the antagonist though.
Yeah,
but they turned him into the main character.
Yeah,
I get it, but
gonna be an antagonist too, and I think that he doesn't start that way. I think Soulja Boy is kind of like a spoiled rich kid that gets this power. And even the heroes don't start. They're gonna show. That's why it's called Vault
But
Rising.
even the times are that way though.
Yeah, but they're gonna show with Vault Rising that it became about commercialism, where initially it really was supposed to be about heroes. I'm not saying that's gonna make it good or not, but I think that they're.
But now I got people calling A-Train the N-word in these times. You see what I'm saying? The characters you introduced me to, I don't want to see that, honestly. I don't want to see
and I think that's
Civil
War era.
Civil rights era.
But I think that's what they're doing. I think they're trying to find another social hotbed where they could make crude and lewd jokes and throw in commentary and get away with doing this over the top comments and remarks and being racist or sexist or all that stuff that they like to throw.
Could it be that because the villain is so much worse because it's Nazi Germany type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so you're then making Soulja Boy somewhat dynamic in that he's a flawed person because of these ideals and beliefs that he has within the country and context that he lives, but he is certainly not Hitler, right? And so I think maybe that's how the audience is somewhat rooting for.
But he's gonna be in
maybe, but then you got his love interest, who is
he gonna be in love with Hitler?
But I
thought she was hiding that the whole time. Oh, was it hidden because of now in the future?
Because of the future, and she was supposed to be a different person.
In a way, she's gonna be the villain, and I think they're
and she's my least favorite character of all of the villains and the boys.
So that means she did a good job.
So other than this,
but I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, Gen V was a failure for a reason. So you haven't really established that your spinoffs are successful, and then there's nothing inspiring about what you're supposed to be giving me involved. So I just wanted to hear where y'all were going.
I heard that they pulled Kripke, so his attention was split, and he was starting to work on Vault Rising, which was part of the reason why the end of the last few seasons of this suffered so much.
Well, it's just they just wrote an article on it.
Yeah.
It's not just one show that can go too long. It's the spinoffs too that suffer from the same problem.
But it's funny, there was a lot of complaint that they felt like this show and season finale and everything up was almost like just a setup for Vault Rising. Where
it felt like that. It felt like that.
That's why they put his character in a box to show that he's still alive, which I didn't understand why they did that, or they just took him out of the fight. So he's not the hero to be power.
Yeah,
so
they could have just used him instead of doing.
Here's the one interesting thing that I think would get me and Dane watching it. So in the trailer, they appear to introduce a black man who's going through civil rights era stuff, and then he gets superpowers. Now, there's a lot of stuff you could do with that. You know what I'm saying? That has not been on screen before.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
In that type of universe. Would be hilarious. So that could be an interesting watch.
James, I'm gonna need you to tell me what 2 episodes to tune in for.
Yeah,
that's him when he powers up on V.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, man. So, what we rating the whole series of The Boys? Is that what we doing?
Nah, this season. We already rated the other seasons. Do we go?
No, as a whole.
Oh, as a whole.
Yeah.
Oh, the whole series.
All right, so this season it was a 2. That is probably my lowest rating of all time.
Yeah.
That's
I
rough.
gave two birds with
You
two
gave
stones.
it 2. Yeah.
This was a 1. This is the worst of the worst. This is worse than Mortal Kombat 2. This is the first person Real Kings podcast. This was a 1.
This might be the first in
all of
history. Period.
Yeah.
Nobody reviews anything a 1.
So y'all know
nobody needs to. That's the problem.
I rate things for what I think they should be. So they have every project has its own 10-point scale to me.
Yeah,
like if it's the greatest trash action movie, but it was great, I'll give it a good rating.
Yeah.
So I'm judging this for what I think it should be good at its best for a boys season, and I'm giving it a 5.
You said that like you was about to give it a high rating.
No, I only say that because John just said this isn't better than Mortal Kombat to me. So in his mind, I think his scaling is like
it's different.
one uniform scale. Mine is for what it should have been.
Because you gave Mortal Kombat a 4.5.
I think I gave it a 3.
A 3.
Yeah.
Oh, John.
You gave it a 5.5. I gave it a 5. That's
that's what it was. James, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I'm a 5. For this season, I think overall, because there were some seasons of The Boys where I was giving it like a 9, 8.5. So I think it falls ultimately around a 7. Like, it's a recency bias a little bit, but it's the most like it's hard to go back to those first 3 seasons because of what we've seen recently. So I think that these last 2 seasons have drug it down. And if you want to add in Gen V and all that, because all that has drug it down for me.
Yeah, I'm 4.5.
Yeah.
No, 4. Let me go 4.
I want to clarify something. I actually think going forward from henceforth, I think I want to take on Live's scale. I think that's a more fair justice. So I think you can't compare, for example, Ready to Die.
Don't nobody want no explanations of being nicer from you.
No, I'm just saying. We shouldn't do that, right? We shouldn't compare. We shouldn't cross compare genres of music. Like,
I mean, that's always
a good album is a good album, but at the same time, it's the greatest rap album.
What's the number one? What's the number one rule?
To Prince or what?
What's the number one rule? Make it good. Make it good.
If
it ain't good, it ain't good.
What I'm saying is, a good Future album can still get a high rating under my philosophy.
There's no Future album,
but if I get
a high rating,
no, listen, you can't. Well, pick whoever you want. That's not a great artist, right?
Yeah,
I think there's music that's good enough to be, given its own
to merit a higher score, but that high score
it's hard to give.
You can't compare that to.
I'm not doing that shit.
You might not like a Kendrick album and give it a 7.
One of his best albums. One of Stevie Wonder. What is one argued the greatest album of all time? Which one?
He got like 6.
No, which one is argued as the greatest though? Just name it.
Intervisions, Songs in the Key of Life.
The Key of Life. All right, that's argued as one of the greatest albums of any cross genre. I'm saying I shouldn't compare the greatest rap album to that. Probably shouldn't do that.
I think the other point is even if it's in the same genre, it's very hard to me to give like a Predator movie a 9, but I also gave Goodfellas a 9. Like to me, it's just hard. Like it's hard to put them in the same uniform scale.
Right.
Like the Predator movie could be the greatest Predator movie, and it just
expectations for the property. There's certain stuff that you go in knowing that it's just not going to be very cerebral. But I have different expectations for Christopher Nolan versus Mortal Kombat 2. You know what I mean?
But I guess what Dave is saying is the counter is you're letting some things off the hook. Then
I understand what y'all are saying. You have certain expectations for a certain type of film.
Yeah, like
there's what's the joint about the bomb? Oppenheimer. You have expectations that this could possibly be one of the greatest movies you ever see. Whereas Mortal Kombat, you never have that expectation. So you may give Oppenheimer a 7,
so I'm rating
and Mortal Kombat
based
not
on
this one, but something better. But
and that's the goal, is to be entertained by all of it. So
By the way, just so you know, Stevie Wonder had 4 years straight where he had album of the
I
year.
know, man. You got to make a point. I wasn't having that conversation. I was saying,
Talking book and music in my mind. That's
what
the
what is argued as the greatest of them? All right, man. So
I didn't name the weakest two. I named the best two: Interview Vision and Songs of the Key of Life.
Songs of the Key of Life is what I was looking for. Thank you, Dane. Damn, man.
and he got another 2 albums before those 4.
I'll be telling y'all, he's so concrete. You just can't ask Dane a question and not be very specific because this is what he can't.
I knew in the world.
But I asked you that for a specific reason. I just needed you to name the album for the layman person, Dane, not for Dane. That's all I needed. All right, man.
I still ain't named my favorite album, but go ahead.
What are we rating this series as a whole because of this finale now? What has it done to where we go back and look at where The Boys ranks upon TV lore series?
It's so interesting because it started off super high. Like the first season, maybe even the second season was up there at the 8.5s. But like the last 2 seasons, they was like 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm trying to balance average the 5 seasons, I'm probably like 6.5 average as hell.
Yeah, man.
And I know, and maybe this is a time for us to talk about it, but I think how certain things get resolved plays a big part in how I interpret a series too.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, it may be unfair, but the ending and how people were held to account for the drama and the trauma that they put us through as villains for years on Game of Thrones has a lot to do with how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while, and I don't know how y'all feel, but it was somewhat satisfying to see Homelander kind of get finished, but it didn't hold up to what he put us through. Yeah. I mean, every time that man was on screen, it's attested to Anthony Starr or whatever, but every time that man was on screen, I'm just kind of tense. Like, and then he just gets finished in like 30 seconds, like that. Pause, but that wasn't
right.
That made me feel like a
smoked meat was a problem.
that just wasn't necessarily enough for a character like that. I think a whole episode should have been dedicated to him being.
What's interesting? Down. What's interesting, Love? When it all came down to it in that last episode, I was more interested in how Butcher was going to die than I was Homelander. Like when they were fighting, I wasn't even thinking, are they going to kill Homelander now? I figured she was going to depower him and then they would do something from there. But I was like, is Butcher going to die in this fight? Is Butcher going to die in this fight? Because to me, it got to a point that Butcher was the bad guy.
So in other words, you kind of was
just as much
somewhat
of the bad guy
looking forward to it, or
yeah, I was looking forward to Butcher dying just as much as I was looking forward to Homelander.
I never felt that way about Butcher. So I think they tried.
Yeah, but you're a villain. But you're a villain at heart.
So what? Fair enough. But what we were just having that conversation is slipping my mind of another film where it was something we watched. I was like, it's obvious what you're trying to do. Oh, I think it was Game of Thrones, right? Because I just got back to Game. Yeah. Like, we see you trying to plant the seed for Khaleesi going mad, but you're doing a horrible job at the pacing of it, and because it started moving too fast.
Mm-hmm. So to clarify my point, I did not think they were going to kill him. And for 2.5 seasons now, he's been just as much a bad guy to me as Homelander. So I was like, if Homelander has to go, Butcher needs to go too.
See, he never felt like a bad villain to me.
He's felt like a villain to me for a while.
He's a utilitarian. He is, I'm doing what is entirely necessary for the fate of the world. You got to crack a few eggs in order to make an omelet.
And I'm just an a-hole. But he was just an a-hole doing it.
But when you get to the point where you're like, I'll kill all of my friends to get it done. Then
that go back to John pacing though. They only introduced that thought at the last second. So it's like,
no, he said in season 4 we need to kill all soups. He said it at the beginning of season 4. And
he hadn't been doing anything.
But he even asked him, does that mean my girl too? And he just looked at him like, she a soup.
But whole time, Homelander's doing villain things.
That's
Butcher
true.
is, even if he introduced it, he never did anything. Like, he wasn't just secretly killing soups on the side, which would have been, I think, something that would have made that more of
a... Here you go. So here's a counter to Dane, because I know where Dane go. He likes the emotional side of the people in the stories. Mr. Fantastic had the same conversation with his wife. And then Mr. Fantastic was basically like, I know that's our newborn baby, but and he was like, I'm not that I really want to do this, but I'm too smart not to have the thought and rash and be able to converse about it. I felt that way about Butcher. It's like, listen, I'm not trying to be soulless and careless about this and emotionless, but let's keep it a buck right now. The mere existence of these people is a threat and going to always be, and we need to at least have the conversation. That's how I saw Butcher up until this last season.
So I saw him that way until he became one of those people and had a permanent power and was not only willing to kill all of them, was willing to kill himself. So then to me, he's just like, I don't give a damn about anybody.
That seemed even more heroic to me.
That's
even more heroic. Yeah.
Right. Because he's actually making a sacrifice.
But he wasn't saving. But he went from saving people to like, I'll just kill everybody.
How is that not saving the world?
Yeah.
It's just one population. That just happens to be collateral damage. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's not like
no different. That's no different than a political official saying we need to rid our country of Latinos to save our country.
No, I think it's the same as a political official saying I'm going to shoot a missile of a terrorist plane down to save the city of New York as opposed to the plane.
That's how you view it, but that's not how that's not how I viewed it. That's not how I took it.
I know, I get that.
He was like him and Homelander was the different side of the same coin.
So I agree with you, Dane, and that I think that's what the writers attempted to do, but I'm telling you, they did such a horrible job of doing it that it didn't land well. It landed more to me more philosophical than it did.
Yeah, when I read some of the comic, I said the comic did a way better job of villainizing Butcher about this ideology than the show ever did.
Yeah,
they just
in the
made
comic, he kills his whole team, except for, like James said, except for Huey.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I guess I was never really that big a fan of his. So it wasn't hard for me to be like, I don't like this.
Did a better job of making you like him. Like Butcher on the show has always been a jerk. Like there was never a moment where you were like, all right, he's the hero. There was
I felt bad in the early seasons because his woman got
but he's
impregnated by Homelander. But but other than that, I never really resonated with him like that. So to me, he was always like an anti-hero. He was never a good guy to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Wolverine's an anti-hero, but I mean,
no, he's not. Wolverine's a hero. He's not an anti-hero. Deadpool's an anti-hero. Wolverine's not an anti-hero. Wolverine he fights for
in the comics,
for good.
In the comics, on the screen, Deadpool is not an anti-hero. He's nothing but a hero on screen. The version of Deadpool that the MCU has provided us is not an anti-hero. Yeah. Well, not in the way you're describing it.
No. Well, I'm talking about the comics.
Okay.
I'm thinking about the comics.
6.5 for me is what I would give this whole series. I mean, it fell from grace. Like that first season was probably like a 9.5. Like that was a really solid. Probably, if we go back, was close to giving that a 10.
Was it because of the shock value that we had never seen anything like that?
That's what I think. I was going to say that. I think my rating is definitely different because I think if I look at totality, and I think if I'm separated from this for a couple years, I'm not going to want to go back and watch it. It's nothing that I know it doesn't lead to anything. Right. A lot of what I loved about it was probably a lot of the nuance of that new, different feel of than the traditional comic book shows.
Right.
And that luster wore off a long time ago. So I'm probably closer to a 6 or, I mean, at best. It's a 7. I don't want to deny what James said, though, because this was one of the top shows I was looking forward to at first.
Yeah.
The Homelander character and
the way that's true.
Playing out were all fresh. They drug that out and beat it into
my Homelander rating as a character by somebody.
Did a great
job. That would be totally higher than the show.
He did a great job.
Like season 3. And then not done Gen V and all that stuff because I think that ultimately ended up hurting things. But if they
what season was Herogasm?
3.
I feel like 3.
Yeah, that's the season they should have ended it.
Yep. Honestly, like what was it? Season 3? What was the one with Soulja Boy where they had that?
Herogasm was Soulja Boy's first
that should have been it. Soulja Boy and Homelander should have killed each other or whatever.
That would have been good. Soulja Boy having the ability to depower him. Somehow he hates his own son.
When they went out the window and Maeve, when they were all in that building with Maeve and all of that, at that point, that was 2?
That was the end
I
of
thought
season 2.
Yeah, that was too early.
That was the end
I
of season
think
2.
if you ended with Soldier
So
Boy,
Maeve only was
Depower
on
him.
2 seasons? I thought she was on 3.
Maeve and Soldier Boy was never together.
Yeah.
Maeve was depowered and off with her wife before Soldier Boy ever came in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Okay.
funny because they ultimately, that's what happened. They got the Soldier Boy power, and that's what so they really like.
Yeah, right. Basically,
Like, they gave us the ending. They just
that was so dumb to me. Like, how did exposing her to uranium expose her ability to do that? Just let Soldier Boy do it
Right.
because he hates his son, and something happens that makes him say, "This is a turning point for me."
After that point,
Right.
Like,
And-
it really feels like that.
And you would have had I guess for me, a redemptive arc to Soldier Boy,
Yeah.
which would have made him better to watch in Vault Rising.
Yeah.
Correct.
They
Yeah.
won't hire us though. I promise you they won't. I promise you they won't.
Hey man, thanks a lot. Hey, that's a good transition point here, man. We gonna get with some news in, James? We got time
How
for
much
news?
time we got? Yeah, we could probably do one or two. I kind of definitely let's hit it because I want to talk about the Tom Hardy show and get y'all thoughts on it.
James, hit us with some news.
As I just alluded to, Mobland is
scared to
one of
talk about
those
this show,
shows that
man.
we discussed that was a surprise. It was well written, well acted, has a good cast with Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, and of course Tom Hardy. There's always been rumors around Tom Hardy being like one of these actors that gets so into his character and has all these demands. Well, apparently they finished filming season 2 of Mobland, but Tom Hardy won't be back for season 3. And a lot of it, there rumors around it is because he had some on-screen difficulties. There's rumors that he wanted to be the that he was promised he was going to be the lead, and maybe season 2 gets more into Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren, and then there were all types of demands. But like, what do y'all think? And is this a sign that this is going down that road where why even have a season 3? Like,
Yeah, I'm watching it for Tom Hardy, and I liked his character the most.
It's like Yellowstone.
So
Yeah.
Hold on,
So are we-
Go ahead.
Are we gonna sit with that lie, or are we gonna talk about the other stuff that's really floating out there?
We're gonna talk
Let's
about
talk about
both.
the other stuff.
We're gonna talk about the other
Okay,
stuff.
let's talk about the other stuff. Let me
Before I do that,
Okay.
let me ask Loff and John and James.
Mhm.
This show, correct me if I'm wrong, this show was one of the 5 to 7 best shows that came out last year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily.
Was it last year?
Uh,
Whatever.
7 is too
Whenever
much.
it came
5.
out.
Yeah.
Something
5. It was top.
yeah.
So it was top. I didn't want to be too presumptuous. It was top 5 show. If it wasn't last year, it was a year before that it came out. It was a top 5 show of that year. This probably means that season 2 gonna be like that, and then we're gonna be sick that we ain't getting season 3 gonna be trash.
My question is, how do they write Tom Hardy's character off? Are they gonna do him?
How
like
they write him
did?
back in?
Well, he can easily get
No,
killed.
he's in season 2.
Right.
No, but they got to write him back in because of the way the season 1 ended, just to write him off.
No. He didn't die. It was inferred
But
he
they
got shot, but we didn't know if he was gonna make it.
Right. So they got to write a storyline to make sure that we know that he's not dead, that he's back, and then they're gonna end up having to write him off anyway. Yeah.
Right. No. But what I want to know is, so what was the your boy that y'all just talked about, Man on Fire, Yahya played in what's the Marvel show before that we
Wonder Man.
Wonder Man. In Wonder Man, Yaya's on stage. He doing too much on like the first or second episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they like excuse him. They like, man, you gotta go, bro. You're done. We're writing your stage. Right?
They didn't do that with Bang. That.
But if the smoke of what we're getting ready to bring up was already an issue and it was already tension on set, what I'm saying is he walks in and they just excuse him as an actor, or do they like, hey buddy, I know you read the script for season 3, but we getting ready to change up the last couple. How does that work?
They don't have season 3 written yet. They wrapped him on season 2. They said season.
So if he was still alive,
Tom Hardy is a wrap on season 2. Everybody give him a round of applause.
That's what I'm saying. But was he dead? How does it end?
And then the lady came up and was like, he's not going to be here next year.
So he just
And
so they
the
got to figure
producer
out how
was
to
like,
write him off.
yeah,
Some
they ain't
explanation.
figured that out yet. They ain't figured that out yet.
They're gonna
They gotta
have
figure that out
actors
now.
from the back of the head and walk in and Tommy him like on Goodfellas, and then don't show his face. What they gonna do?
What is she? The Indian sister? She probably gonna pop him.
I mean, I've seen too many shows where characters are killed off screen.
Like, that's what they gonna do. That's gonna be so.
I mean,
it's gonna be terrible.
Personally, it would probably be better to have him be like, I want out, because he really is a family man. So he just gets out and he gets granted that or fakes his death and is like, or whatever. I can't see Pierce Brosnan letting him go. So they would have to figure something out.
Right. Yeah.
But he don't have to die necessarily. But again, all my point is that characters will be removed off screen somehow because they have a scheduling issue or something. So it's easy to do.
If the second set of rumors for why they letting him go is true,
they gonna kill
he getting killed.
Yeah.
He getting killed.
Yeah. But my thing is, how can you do that for the main person that the show is marketing off of if you want them to watch season 3? The only reason you can do that is if you have someone else.
You introduce somebody.
You introduce somebody else. That's just as much of a draw.
Yeah, but I just think that never works, man.
It don't.
Tuned in, Yellowstone is the easiest comparing, where Kevin Costner had his issues, and then they tried to keep it going, and then ultimately they had to do like a spinoff, which is hit or miss. But
I know it damn sure better not be his best friend, Pierce Brosnan's son, that is the main character now.
And even still, we talking about he was a family man and this and that. You got to write off, because why we want to see Tom Hardy's family?
I think that's just a given that they would be gone. Yeah.
So what was it? I see it on the run sheet. But I didn't see. I hadn't heard any of this.
Who's going to spell it?
Let Dane.
No,
go
I don't want to be the one to spill it.
Go ahead.
I don't know if it's real.
But I mean, we can say that.
It's a rumor.
Yeah. So the rumor is that Helen Mirren is a well-documented supporter of Israel. And that the idea is that Tom Hardy has been somewhat, I guess, lesser.
He's been very vocal.
Oh, he has? Okay.
He's been very vocal about the Free Palestine.
Okay.
He's like signed like the petitions and everything.
Okay. Yeah. So I wasn't aware of that, but apparently because of that stance, they believe that a lot of some of the breadcrumbs that they look at with Helen Mirren being very not complimentary of Tom Hardy, just seems like she has been just as equally critical of people who have been pro-Palestine. So they feel like where there's smoke, that this could be fire, and that is the actual reason why this is an untenable situation. And he can't.
And there are people who work on the set that said, I was on the set with Tom Hardy every day. He was one of the first people on the set, one of the last people to leave, never had no problems, never had no issues. I don't know where that's coming from.
And man, Helen Mirren's Helen Mirren. She's the GOAT. But for this show specifically, if I had to choose between the two, I'm choosing Tom Hardy because the show was made around him. So I don't know.
But I hear you unless you're
he kind of has a history of being difficult. So that's why I'm like, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire on this. I didn't hear the stuff that Dane, you were just saying that, other people were saying he was great and everything else. Unless the writers, and I get it, man. Like,
I think there's a certain amount of, even though what you said is right from a business standpoint of like how it's marketed and who Tom Hardy is. I think there's also just as much of a sort of public social consciousness about removing someone like Helen Mirren, who then if she goes out and says I was removed for these reasons,
why are we trying to stretch it out if Tom Hardy is the protagonist and that's like, I don't know.
Does she have any production credits in the show?
She might, but I think he did too. But that's kind of like, I don't know, man.
I think they're both replaceable.
Like and then being like, we just gonna do a show. We don't need Batman in the joint no more. Like, well,
right. Yeah, that's true.
Show was built around him, and I understand like if there's difficulties on set, because that can make it difficult. But again, this seems to be the thing that we were concerned in talking about. And Paramount's trying to launch their bigger brand. They bought the UFC. They're trying to buy WB and everything else. So this seems like one of those money grabs.
What if
they're trying to keep it going, and they just went
maybe
through it
not
for Yellowstone.
What if
studios-
because season 2 hasn't released yet, this is them trying to ensure people still tune in with the idea this show's gonna continue, but they already know it's dead. What if they already know it's dead, and they're trying to distance themselves from Hardy because he probably did get fired, and they don't want his comments or anything to like dissuade people from watching the show.
But I
Who
just,
knows?
again, it seems like you want to keep the gravy train going. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
yeah.
the easy answer is to say, like, they're trying to find ways to make it work because they know it's a success. And probably, like Dane said, season 2 is probably just as good as season 1. Or somewhere close where they feel like the material's good. And they're like, man, we got to keep this going. Taylor Sheridan's gone to wherever, I can't remember, Amazon or whatever. And, you know, they're trying to keep this, you know, Paramount Plus afloat. And they have a certain amount of hit shows, and they're not ready for it to end before season 3.
And I can't think of a British person right now, but they probably have discussed, maybe we'll throw a lot of money at so-and-so to replace him.
That's
and
we'll
market the show off there.
Charlie Sheen with Ashton Kutcher, and Dame was not happy. His favorite show, 2.5 Men, went on the rail.
I may have seen 4 episodes of that joint in my life.
Like, really? Good show out of all the...
Nah, the one that would get you is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother. Yeah,
that's the, if you wanted to pull a white show out of the bag, surprise that I would. Yeah, that was my show.
They didn't have like they actually wrapped up and did everything right though on that show. Where they
no, the last episode was trash, but everything up until that last episode
have like a weird like substitution like this did. Maybe Aunt Viv, although the second Aunt Viv wasn't, you know, but we've talked about that ad nauseum. But
sidebar.
I think this is always interesting, and it's weird because, like I said, Tom Hardy has this stigma of being a nice guy, great guy, down to earth, but he also gets the stigma about being like such a artist and being difficult on the set. He's my guy because he trains jujitsu. He's actually in tournaments and stuff. So I always like to see Tom Hardy.
And he rapped. That's the other thing you like, right?
Down for the cause. Hey, but before we wrap, do y'all have anything else on this? Because I do want to get y'all thoughts on Supergirl, man. These trailers and even seeing some of the talking heads discuss it, I don't know what they're doing, and I don't know if the girl again, man. Millie Alcock, I don't want to.
Did you see my comment, Dane?
Yeah, I don't want to judge it before it comes out.
No, say it.
Doesn't seem like it was the right choice. I don't know what Gunn is doing, man.
Why?
And so that is the opinion of James. But Dane and Doc Rock disagree wholeheartedly right now.
Completely.
With Millie Alcock or
with
everything you say?
Everything. Yeah.
That
trailer looks dope to me.
That don't look better than I thought it was going to look.
Wow.
That don't look way better than I thought it was.
Every new scene that I see makes me like hate it even more. Like,
that don't look way better than I thought it was going to look.
This is interesting. This is interesting. No, nobody's gas
I'm not. I literally watched the trailer and was like, oh, it don't even look whack. And then James was like, man, this looks horrible. And I was like, what?
Really come off again. I see Supergirl as a reflection of Superman, where they're somewhat physically imposing. Like she's kind of.
But Superman was terrible, so she doesn't look like that Superman. So I'm cool.
Strong, but like she just doesn't. And then they get into it and they say she don't even wear the suit till the end.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Normal James Gusta every day.
Okay, so John, crypto's still in it,
right?
You know, I'm hate that. You know, I'm gonna hate that.
The crypto scenes look fine to me. I mean, it looks.
Tripping, man.
I'm gonna hate the crypto scenes, but the other stuff, her fighting, her being a little reckless, it just looks to me like she's being Supergirl for the first time and trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
which would make sense for why she doesn't have the Supergirl outfit on at first.
This is obvious, and the comparisons have been made already, but this reminds me so much of Guardians, the first Guardians. I mean,
that's why I hate it too.
It looks like
that's James Gunn's best movie.
Yeah, that's his best film.
But that movie exists already, so that's why I'm struggling with.
But other movies that he's done since.
Listen, if you good at something, go back to the same
your best movie, or do all that other swill. Give me the best one.
Yeah.
I ain't a huge James Gunn fan anyway.
I'll put it like this. I think just from looking at the trailers, it appears as though the storyline in this is going to be very well written and compelling the whole way through. I swear to goodness, I am being dead serious right now. After we saw that extended trailer, I was like, oh, damn, I'm looking for. That's the first film.
John is higher on it than I am, but I still don't think it looks bad.
They said I ain't gonna go that far, but
the fact that I'm here automatically makes me that, right? But it actually looks good.
Gonna be? Like,
say again?
What do you think the story is gonna be?
Her trying to find her way, a coming of age story, like Dane talks about often that he likes. Her trying to find her way.
That's me all day.
Her trying to find her way. Her trying to help out. She meets a friend who needs help and assistance, and she learns and is compelled by that story. And somehow she herself gets pulled in, maybe because of the dog. Who knows? And then
finds her inner hero. Finds her inner hero.
Her little Kryptonian astronaut when Clark pops up and says, "Hey, how you doing? Nice space."
I don't think they're gonna put that in the story. I don't think they're gonna put that in there.
It's in the preview.
We thought that with the first movie, and it was all in there.
No, Clark sitting on the moon with Crypto was not in the movie.
Right. Wait, no, I'm saying that was like an image, yes, but I'm saying that the video stuff that we saw.
What the video clips, of Clark sitting on the moon with Crypto? Okay.
Yeah.
Like him putting his boots on and stuff. Like I thought that stuff might be like not in it. I don't know. It just looked a little weird and it was all in there. So
I mean, anything Superman is in with this current Superman, Corn Sweat, I'm not gonna like. So but I don't expect that scene to be a scene that I like.
It is coming of age to a certain degree, but it's really it's if they stick to the comic book, it's more about the girl that she befriends. That person that they're looking for kills her family, and then he injures Crypto, and he's the only person that has the antidote to save him. So they go on a quest to try to find him. But it still looks very guard. I'm surprised because usually y'all are very James Gunn critical, and this just seems like everything that's James Gunn that y'all typically don't like.
When she's rocking out with them headphones on with that Walkman, doing a dance number in the middle of that bar. Remember this conversation. Remember what y'all said.
It's completely Peter Quill. It's 100% guard. But it looked like it's gonna be good.
No. So John is saying, hold on. Let's clarify this because I don't need love trying to bring this up back on me. John is saying it looks good. I'm saying it looks way better than I expected.
Okay.
Because my expectations for James Gunn is basement bottom.
I'll give you that. But it just looks in line with James Gunn. I guess we'll see. It sounds like we're all going to see it. So I'm just bad. I love when it's the flip, and it's almost like we're in Bizarro World.
Yes, it is.
So I had to get to that before we got too far past.
I'm glad
it'll be here in another couple of weeks. So.
Hey, are we going to see anything next week? Is anything coming out this weekend we need to prepare for?
No,
I ain't seen Amanda.
Started watching the Burrows?
I haven't.
I am going to start that though.
Check in.
I'm looking.
That's Netflix.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna check He-Man out. Am I alone or I know James see everything?
I'm going to see He-Man. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That's not this weekend though. It's the week after next, right?
It's the week after.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
So we got a week of maybe watching the Burrows and then preparing for He-Man. That'll give us something to.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Dan. You have something?
Nah, I'm good.
Cool. All right, man. Well, this has been a great episode of the Real Kings podcast, man. Check us out everywhere you get your podcast. We do this once a week, only once a week. That's why we keep you here for 2 hours. But hey, you enjoyed it. We enjoy it all the same. We'll see you next time. This has been Doc Rock, Hunk, Loft, and Jim Gordon. We love y'all. Hope to see you next time. Give us some feedback, like, subscribe, rate, and review.
Right.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.